Welcome to Crash Course to Passover. This was really popular for Purim, so we're going to do it again for Passover. What we're really going to discuss is the Seder. And Seder literally means order because it's the order that things go in. There's like 15 steps. The first 8 are really long because you don't get to eat yet. And then after that, everything's really fast because you've eaten and you want to go to bed. So we're going to start with discussing a little bit of what's on your table because there's 2 items that you need to know about before we proceed. One of those is called the Seder plate. In Hebrew, it's called the ke'ara. It has several traditional foods on it like a beitzah, an egg, a zaroa, a shank bone, maror, which is bitter herbs, karpas, which are herbs that you dip in salt water, charoset, which is a nut paste, it's sweet, and chazeret. Anyway, these are all traditional foods. Almost every single one of them symbolizes something. They all have a meaning, and there's of course going to be matzah also, which is flatbread that hasn't gotten a chance to rise. The second thing that you will all have on your table, because it is the instructions for how to run the Seder, is called the Haggadah. It might look like this. This is a Maxwell house. This is a very traditional Haggadah, but there's many of them. They could have pretty pictures. They might have English translations. They might not. They could have anything in them. There are thousands of different Haggadahs that have been written. So with that said, let's talk about the first step of the Pesach, the Passover Seder. The first step is Kadesh. Kadesh is the step where you make a blessing on wine. There are 4 cups that you drink Passover evening, and this is the first of those 4 cups. You're going to recite a blessing over it, and you're going to move on to the next step. The next step is called Orchas. During Orchas, you wash your hands. Very quick. Karpas is the third step. During Karpas, you dip herbs like celery or lettuce, or some people I think use cilantro or parsley. You dip that in salt water. The salt water is supposed to symbolize the Jewish people's tears when they were in slavery in Egypt because they cried because they were in pain. The step after that is called Yachatz. There's probably a stack of matzahs on your table. Again, matzahs are the flatbreads we talked about. You're going to take the central matzah, because there should be 3 in a stack, and you're going to crack it. The smaller half you're going to put away for the afikomen. Then there's the step called Magid. This is basically the longest step of the whole thing. Magid, the root of the word Magid is to tell. You're going to tell the story of Passover. So that includes, how the Jews came to be slaves, what it was like for them in slavery, how they got out of slavery. You're going to talk about the 10 plagues. Thumbs up to anyone who remembers those. You're going to say the 4 questions. You're going to talk about what's different on Passover night from the rest of the year. And why is it important that there's something different about Passover? You're going to discuss the 4 sons. Then you are going to sing some songs. A very popular song is called Dayenu, which is like a popular rendition, and the chorus is the same every single round, so at least you can get that down. The next step is Rachza. You're washing your hands again. This time you're making a blessing. The step after that is Motzi Matzah. After washing your hands, you're going to make a blessing on the matzah in front of you, and you are going to eat it. I'm sorry if your mouth tastes like it is full of cardboard. It's a very dry food. After that, you're going to do something called maror. We talked about maror before. Maror is the bitter herbs. Maror is supposed to represent the bitterness that the Jews felt when they were enslaved in Egypt. It's bitter. It could be horseradish. It could be very bitter romaine lettuce. If you leave lettuce to sit for a couple days, it gets bitter. The step after that is called korech. Korech actually is about sandwiches, not your average PB&J. This is matzah and maror, the bitter herbs, and then on top of that, you put that nut paste we were talking about called charoset. Interesting, not to everyone's taste, but that's okay because the step after that is Shulchan Orech, which is the step that every single person has been waiting for because this is the step where you get matzo ball soup or brisket or whatever your family makes for the Passover meal. After that, 4 more steps, goes quick. Tzafon is when an adult will hide the afikomen. So the afikomen was the piece of matzah we put aside before. This is typically hidden in the house, and the kids go try to find it. And whoever finds it gets a prize. This is my favorite part of the Seder growing up. The step after that is called Barech. During this step, you're going to be making the after the meal blessing. After that is Hallel. Hallel is basically songs where you praise God. And then there's Nirtza. Nirtza is a lot of songs similar to Hallel, but they're more about Jerusalem and the future. And after that, you're good to go. You can go to bed. Thank you.